blessed and very lucky. I've had an amazing life. Music has been my life, and I got this for music and to work for charity.
Elton John has sparked royal drama like never before. The legendary singer has reportedly taken King Charles to the Supreme Court after shocking revelations about royal secrets. Elton, who shared a close bond with Princess Diana, claims the truth about her struggles and life within the royal family has been buried for too long, and King Charles might hold the key. This unexpected legal battle has left the public stunned, uncovering twists that could shake the monarchy to its core. So, what did Charles reveal? Elton John's revelation. Elton John, one of the world's most celebrated musicians, recently opened up about a shocking truth involving his late friend, Princess Diana, and King Charles. For years, Elton and Diana's friendship was admired by many. They were often seen laughing and enjoying each other's company at public events. But behind the scenes, their relationship faced unseen struggles that eventually led to a painful estrangement. Now, after decades of silence, Elton has revealed that King Charles played a significant role in driving a wedge between them. Elton and Diana's friendship began in 1981 at Prince Andrew's 21st birthday party. It was an unexpected bond that blossomed through shared humor, compassion, and understanding of the pressures that came with their public lives. Diana, trapped in a failing marriage and burdened by royal expectations, found solace in Elton's wit and empathy. Similarly, Elton, who had faced his own personal struggles, found a kindred spirit in Diana. Their bond was deep and genuine, but it wasn't without its challenges. According to Elton, the real turning point in their friendship came in 1997. He had asked Diana to contribute a foreword to a charity book for his AIDS Foundation, a cause he was deeply passionate about. Diana had initially agreed, but she later withdrew her support at the last minute. Elton was devastated and confused by her sudden change of heart. It wasn't until much later that he discovered the truth. King Charles had pressured Diana to pull out of the project. Charles was reportedly concerned about the royal family's image and believed that Diana's involvement in such a controversial project might bring unwanted attention. This revelation hurt Elton deeply. He felt betrayed, not just by Diana's decision, but by the unseen influence of King Charles. The incident marked the beginning of a painful rift between Elton and Diana. Their once close friendship cooled, and the frequent phone calls and meetings they had shared became a thing of the past. Elton chose to break his silence after years of reflection. He admitted that speaking out was not easy, knowing the weight his words carried. However, he felt it was important to share the truth, not to stir controversy, but to honor Diana's legacy. Elton's revelation paints a complex picture of the pressures Diana faced as a member of the royal family and the challenges that came with being her friend. It is a story of love, loss, and the enduring impact of one of the most beloved figures in modern history. King Charles's influence. King Charles has always been a figure of tradition, protocol, and responsibility when it comes to the British monarchy. However, behind the public image of duty lies a more complex story about his influence on those closest to him, including his late wife, Princess Diana. Recently, Elton John shed light on how Charles's actions not only shaped Diana's life, but also affected her friendships, particularly her bond with Elton himself. Elton and Diana shared a rare and beautiful friendship. They connected on a deep emotional level, with Elton offering her a sense of humor and empathy during some of her most challenging times. However, as their friendship grew, King Charles began to see it as a potential issue for the royal family. Diana's increasing popularity and her association with Elton, who was a global celebrity and a vocal advocate for causes like AIDS awareness, made Charles uneasy. He was deeply concerned with preserving the monarchy's image, and Elton's flamboyant personality and controversial work didn't align with the conservative values of the royal household. One of the most striking examples of Charles's influence was during the charity book controversy in 1997. Elton had asked Diana to write a foreword for a book supporting his AIDS Foundation. Diana initially agreed, but at the last moment she pulled out. Elton later revealed that Charles had pressured Diana to withdraw her support, fearing that her involvement in such a project would tarnish the monarchy's reputation. This decision left Elton feeling betrayed and confused, and it marked the beginning of a painful estrangement between the two friends. Charles's influence didn't stop with the charity book. Elton also recalled how Diana often spoke to him about feeling trapped in her royal role. She described how Charles's emotional distance and his focus on tradition made it difficult for her to feel supported. Behind the scenes, Charles subtly shaped many of Diana's decisions, including her relationships with people outside the royal family. This created ongoing tension between Diana's desire to live authentically and her duty to conform to royal expectations. Elton's revelations about Charles's actions highlight the unseen pressures within the royal family. While Charles's intentions may have been to protect the monarchy, his influence had far-reaching consequences, including the isolation Diana felt and the strain it placed on her relationships. This story paints a picture of a man torn between his duty to the crown and the personal dynamics that defined his private life. The charity book incident. The charity book incident marked a turning point in Elton John's friendship with Princess Diana, a bond that had been cherished by both of them for years. In 1997, Elton was working on a charity coffee table book to benefit his AIDS Foundation, a cause he held close to his heart. The book aimed to raise awareness and funds for AIDS during a time when the disease was still heavily stigmatized. It was a bold and compassionate project, and Diana, known for her humanitarian efforts, agreed to write the foreword. Her involvement would have been monumental, given her global influence and her fearless advocacy for causes that many avoided. Elton was overjoyed by Diana's support. Her name attached to the project would not only bring much-needed attention to the cause, but also help break the stigma surrounding AIDS. At the time, very few public figures, let alone members of the royal family, were willing to openly associate themselves with the issue. Diana's agreement to contribute to the book felt like a powerful step forward, both for the cause and their friendship. However, just as everything seemed to be falling into place, Diana suddenly pulled out of the project. Elton was blindsided and deeply hurt. He couldn't understand why she had withdrawn her commitment to something she had seemed so passionate about. The abrupt decision left him confused and questioning their friendship. It wasn't until much later that Elton discovered the truth. King Charles had intervened. According to Elton, Charles had expressed concerns about Diana's involvement in such a high-profile and controversial project. The royal family, with its strong focus on maintaining tradition and avoiding divisive topics, viewed Diana's connection to the AIDS cause as risky. Fearing that it could bring negative attention to the monarchy, Charles reportedly pressured Diana to step away from the book. This revelation left Elton devastated. He felt not only betrayed by Diana's decision, but also frustrated that outside forces, particularly Charles's influence, had come between them. For Diana, the situation was equally heartbreaking. She was caught between her loyalty to Elton and her desire to maintain peace within the royal family. The incident highlighted the immense pressure she faced as a member of the monarchy, where even her personal friendships and passions were subject to scrutiny. The charity book incident became a painful rift in their friendship, one that neither Elton nor Diana fully recovered from before her untimely death. It remains a poignant reminder of the challenges Diana faced in balancing her personal values with the demands of royal life. Diana's isolation. Princess Diana was one of the most beloved and iconic figures in modern history, but behind the public adoration and glamorous image, she lived a life of deep loneliness and isolation. Trapped in the rigid world of the royal family and burdened by the constant scrutiny of the media, Diana often felt like she had no one to truly turn to. Her struggles were heartbreaking, and they reveal the immense pressure she endured as both a princess and a human being. From the outside, Diana's life seemed like a fairy tale. She was the Princess of Wales, married to Prince Charles, and adored by millions across the globe. But behind the palace walls, things were far from perfect. Her marriage to Charles was strained, marked by emotional distance and infidelity. Diana was well aware of Charles's ongoing relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, and it left her feeling unloved and rejected. Despite being in the public eye, she felt more alone than ever. As her marriage fell apart, Diana found herself increasingly alienated within the royal family. The traditions and expectations of royal life were suffocating, and she struggled to find her place. She often described feeling like an outsider, unable to fit into the rigid mold that the monarchy demanded. Her every move was scrutinized, and her every flaw was magnified by the press. The constant presence of paparazzi only worsened her isolation, leaving her with little privacy or peace. Diana's mental health also suffered greatly during this time. She battled bulimia and depression, both of which were fueled by the pressures of her royal role and her crumbling marriage. She often confided in close friends about her feelings of hopelessness and despair. Elton John, one of her dearest friends, became a trusted confidant during her darkest moments. Late-night phone calls between the two revealed the depth of her struggles, as she shared her fears, frustrations, and longing for a life outside the royal spotlight. Despite her pain, Diana remained committed to her humanitarian work, which became a source of purpose for her. She channeled her feelings of isolation into compassion for others, using her platform to champion causes like AIDS awareness and landmine removal. In helping others, she found some solace, even as her own life felt increasingly out of control. Diana's isolation was a tragic aspect of her life, but it also shaped the legacy she left behind. Her humanity, vulnerability, and strength continue to inspire millions, reminding the world of the struggles she endured and the compassion she shared. Estrangement and reconnection. The friendship between Elton John and Princess Diana was one of the most heartfelt and captivating bonds in the public eye. However, like many close relationships, it wasn't immune to challenges. Their friendship faced a painful estrangement in the mid-1990s, only to find a bittersweet moment of reconnection shortly before Diana's tragic passing. The fallout between Elton and Diana stemmed from a charity book project in 1997. Elton had planned to release a coffee table book to benefit his AIDS Foundation, a cause he passionately championed. Initially, Diana agreed to write the foreword for the book, and her involvement was significant, as she was a fearless advocate for humanitarian issues. However, she later withdrew her support, leaving Elton hurt and confused. He later discovered that King Charles had influenced her decision, urging her to step back from the project to protect the royal family's image. This revelation created a rift between Elton and Diana, as their friendship, which had been a source of joy and comfort, began to fade. During their estrangement, both Elton and Diana experienced emotional struggles. Diana was dealing with the breakdown of her marriage, the relentless scrutiny of the media, and her own feelings of isolation. Elton, on the other hand, was deeply affected by the loss of their connection, as Diana had been one of the few people who truly understood him on a personal level. The distance between them weighed heavily on both sides, leaving a void that neither could easily fill. In July 1997, tragedy brought them back together. The unexpected murder of their mutual friend, Gianni Versace, served as a turning point. At Versace's funeral in Milan, Elton and Diana reconnected through their shared grief. Sitting side by side, they comforted one another, holding hands and speaking quietly. The warmth of their bond returned, even if only for a brief moment. For Elton, this reconnection was bittersweet, as it reminded him of the closeness they once shared. Sadly, their renewed connection was short-lived. Just weeks later, Diana tragically passed away in a car accident in Paris. Elton was left mourning not only the loss of a dear friend, but also the missed opportunity to fully repair their relationship. Their story of estrangement and reconnection remains a poignant reminder of the fragility of human relationships and the importance of cherishing the people we hold dear. Elton's tribute to Diana. Elton John's tribute to Princess Diana remains one of the most iconic and emotional moments in modern history. Their friendship was one filled with laughter, shared struggles, and mutual respect. When Diana tragically passed away on August 31st, 1997, Elton was devastated. He had only recently reconnected with her after a period of estrangement, and her sudden death left him heartbroken. In his grief, Elton found a way to honor his dear friend in a way that would resonate with millions around the world. At Diana's funeral, held at Westminster Abbey, Elton performed a reworked version of his song "Candle in the Wind." Originally written as a tribute to Marilyn Monroe, the lyrics were rewritten by Elton's longtime collaborator, Bernie Taupin, to reflect Diana's life and legacy. The new version, titled "Goodbye England's Rose," painted a beautiful and heartfelt picture of Diana as a compassionate, loving, and iconic figure who had touched the hearts of so many. The The performance was deeply moving. As Elton sang, his voice carried the weight of his grief and the collective mourning of millions who had lost their people's princess. The lyrics spoke of Diana's kindness and her ability to connect with everyday people, breaking through the barriers of royalty to show her humanity. The line, "Your candle burned out long before your legend ever will," captured the essence of her impact. Her life was cut short, but her legacy would endure forever. Behind the scenes, Elton's tribute wasn't without controversy. King Charles reportedly had reservations about including such an emotional and modern performance in what was meant to be a traditional royal funeral. However, the Dean of Westminster supported the idea, understanding the need for the public to grieve in a way that felt genuine. Ultimately, Elton's performance became one of the most memorable moments of the service, resonating with people across the world. The reworked "Candle in the Wind" went on to become one of the best-selling singles of all time, with proceeds donated to Diana's charities. For Elton, it wasn't just a song. It was his way of saying goodbye to a dear friend and ensuring that Diana's memory would live on forever. Elton's loyalty to Diana's children. After Princess Diana's tragic death in 1997, Elton John remained deeply connected to her memory through his enduring loyalty to her two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. His devotion to Diana's children became a way for him to keep her legacy alive while supporting the boys she loved so dearly. Over the years, Elton has acted as both a friend and a protector, standing by them during some of their most challenging moments. Elton shared a particularly close bond with Prince Harry, who reminded him of Diana's warmth, humor, and compassion. After Diana's death, Elton kept in touch with both William and Harry, but it was Harry who often turned to him for guidance. Elton, having faced his own battles with fame and personal struggles, understood the pressures the young princes faced growing up in the public eye. He became someone they could rely on, offering advice and emotional support when they needed it most. One of the most beautiful moments showcasing Elton's loyalty came in 2018, when he performed at Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding. His rendition of several songs during the reception was more than just entertainment. It was a heartfelt gesture of love and support for the couple. Elton's presence at the wedding highlighted his ongoing commitment to Diana's family and his willingness to celebrate their happiness, just as Diana would have wanted. However, Elton's loyalty went beyond joyful occasions. When Harry and Meghan faced relentless media scrutiny and criticism, Elton stepped in to defend them. He publicly supported the couple when they were accused of hypocrisy for using private jets, revealing that he had provided the flights and ensured they were environmentally offset. Elton's defense of Harry and Meghan showed that he wasn't afraid to stand up for them, even when it meant drawing criticism himself. This loyalty has not been without consequences. Elton's unwavering support for Harry and Meghan, especially as their relationship with the royal family grew strained, deepened the distance between him and the monarchy. Yet, Elton's priority has always been clear: honoring Diana's legacy and protecting her children. For Elton, his loyalty to Diana's sons is not just about friendship. It's a tribute to the bond he shared with their mother. Through his actions, he continues to defend and uphold the values Diana stood for, ensuring her spirit lives on through her children. Elton's criticism of Charles Elton John has never been one to shy away from speaking his truth, and when it comes to King Charles, his words carry significant weight. Over the years, Elton has become increasingly vocal about the role Charles played in Princess Diana's struggles. As one of Diana's closest friends, Elton witnessed firsthand the emotional toll her marriage to Charles took on her, and he hasn't hesitated to criticize what he sees as Charles's lack of support for Diana during her most difficult times. One of Elton's main criticisms of Charles revolves around his inability to emotionally connect with Diana. According to Elton, Diana often confided in him about how lonely and trapped she felt in her marriage. She described Charles as distant and more focused on preserving the royal family's image than on addressing her needs or their relationship. This emotional neglect, coupled with Charles's ongoing affair with Camilla Parker Bowles, left Diana feeling isolated and heartbroken. Elton has also criticized Charles for the way he influenced Diana's personal decisions, particularly her friendships. One of the most notable examples of this was the 1997 charity book incident. Diana had agreed to write the foreword for a book benefiting Elton's AIDS Foundation, a cause she was passionate about. However, under pressure from Charles, who was concerned about the royal family's reputation, Diana withdrew her support. This caused a rift between Elton and Diana, one that was deeply painful for both of them. Elton has since spoken openly about how Charles's interference played a significant role in their estrangement. Beyond their personal dynamic, Elton has expressed disappointment in how Charles handled Diana's growing popularity. As Diana's humanitarian work and natural ability to connect with people made her the most beloved member of the royal family, Charles reportedly grew resentful. Elton believes that Charles's jealousy and desire to control the narrative surrounding Diana only added to her struggles within the monarchy. For Elton, his criticism of Charles isn't just about anger, it's about telling the truth. He feels a responsibility to honor Diana's legacy by shedding light on the challenges she faced, many of which, in his view, were shaped by Charles's actions. Through his words, Elton continues to defend Diana's memory and stand up for the values she represented. Standing up for Diana and her legacy. Elton John has always been a man of loyalty, and when it comes to Princess Diana, his commitment to her legacy is unwavering. From the moment they became friends in the early 1980s, Elton admired Diana's courage, compassion, and ability to connect with people on a deeply human level. After her tragic death in 1997, Elton took it upon himself to ensure that her memory, and the values she stood for, would never be forgotten. Elton's decision to speak out about Diana's struggles and the challenges she faced was not an easy one. For years, he remained silent about the role King Charles allegedly played in Diana's isolation and the strain on their friendship. However, Elton later revealed that he felt a responsibility to share the truth, not to stir controversy, but to honor Diana's life and legacy. He believed that the world needed to know the full extent of what she endured as a member of the royal family, and how her humanitarian efforts were sometimes overshadowed by royal politics. One of Elton's most significant acts of loyalty came at Diana's funeral. His performance of a reworked version of Candle in the Wind became a defining moment of public mourning. The song, rewritten as Goodbye England's Rose, was a heartfelt tribute to Diana's life and the impact she had on millions around the world. The performance was not without controversy, as King Charles reportedly had reservations about the emotional tone of the song, but Elton stood firm. His tribute was a way of giving the people a voice to grieve and celebrate Diana's legacy. Beyond the funeral, Elton's dedication to Diana's memory has continued through his unwavering support for her children, Prince William and Prince Harry. His defense of Harry and Meghan Markle during their struggles with the press and royal life reflects his ongoing loyalty to Diana's values. Elton has never hesitated to stand up for what he believes is right, even when it means speaking out against powerful figures like King Charles. For Elton, standing up for Diana is more than an act of friendship. It's a promise to keep her spirit alive. Through his words, music, and actions, he continues to ensure that Diana's legacy of kindness, courage, and humanity shines brightly, even decades after her passing. Elton's final break with the royals. Elton John's relationship with the royal family has always been complex, but in recent years it has reached a breaking point. While Elton has remained loyal to Princess Diana's memory and her children, Prince William and Prince Harry, his public support for Harry and Meghan Markle has created a clear divide between him and the rest of the monarchy, especially King Charles. This final break with the royals is not just about personal relationships, it's about Elton standing up for what he believes in and defending Diana's legacy. Elton's bond with Diana's sons grew stronger after her tragic death in 1997. He had always admired Diana's courage and compassion, and he saw those same qualities in Harry. Over the years, Elton became a trusted ally and mentor to Harry, offering guidance as he navigated the pressures of royal life. However, when Harry and Meghan stepped back from their royal duties and faced relentless media scrutiny, Elton's loyalty to them became more visible and more controversial. One key moment in Elton's break with the royals came when Harry and Meghan were criticized for using private jets. Elton publicly defended the couple, revealing that he had provided the flights and ensured they were environmentally offset. This was his way of protecting Diana's son and standing up against the same kind of unfair media treatment Diana had endured. However, Elton's vocal support for Harry and Meghan deepened the rift between him and King Charles, who who was reportedly unhappy with Elton's involvement. For Elton, this wasn't just about Harry and Meghan. It was about the values Diana stood for. She had always championed causes of compassion and justice, and Elton felt it was his responsibility to do the same for her children. He saw parallels between the media's treatment of Diana and the attacks on Harry and Meghan, and he was determined to protect them, even if it meant distancing himself from the monarchy. Elton's final break with the royals is a testament to his unwavering loyalty to Diana and her family. While his relationship with the monarchy may never be repaired, his commitment to standing up for Diana's legacy remains stronger than ever.
Diana and Charles's relationship has fallen apart. Both have had affairs, and both use the media to leak damaging stories and settle scores.
First, Dianagate, allegedly a conversation between the princess and a male companion she called Squidgy. Then Camillagate, allegedly between Charles and his lover.
She was the villain. She was the third person in the marriage. She needed to rehabilitate her image.
You and your brother both directly asked your dad not to marry Camilla.
The royal drama just got even juicier. Decades after Princess Diana's heartbreaking revelations, her son has stepped forward with shocking secrets about Camilla that could shake the monarchy to its core. From secret meetings to betrayal, Prince Harry isn't holding back. Did Camilla's influence go deeper than anyone imagined? And how does this tie into Diana's tragic end?
Confirmation from our very own Foreign Secretary Robin Cook, who's in the Far East at the moment, that Diana, Princess of Wales, has in fact been killed in that car accident.
Buckle up. These revelations will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the royal family. Diana's cryptic note hinted at a plot involving Camilla. Diana's cryptic note changed everything. Up until then, many believed her concerns about Charles and Camilla were merely rumors. But that single piece of paper revealed her darkest suspicions. She feared a plot that could end her life, potentially arranged by Charles, with Camilla as a hidden force behind it all. These words shook the palace. In the note, Diana expressed that someone might be planning an accident in my car. This alarmed those who read it after her untimely passing. Why would she even write such a thing? She had felt cornered, hounded by the press, confined by royal rules, and haunted by Charles's closeness to Camilla. The note captured her sense of danger. Stories say Diana found more than enough evidence of an ongoing affair. She knew Camilla was not a casual figure in Charles's life. They had private phone calls, secret nicknames, and shared friends who protected their bond. As the reality of the situation sank in, Diana felt that her own safety might be threatened if she revealed too much. The note itself pointed to specific worries about a potential car crash. Many found this especially chilling after her fatal accident in Paris. People started asking if Diana's fears were ignored, or worse, covered up. Even her son, Prince Harry, has questioned the official investigation, suggesting that the failed tunnel cameras and conflicting reports were more than mere coincidences. Harry's recent statements have reignited debates about that night in Paris. He claims Diana wrote the note because she felt powerless, unprotected by the institution that should have shielded her. It also suggested Camilla's involvement might go deeper than just romance with Charles. Could she have influenced decisions that left Diana vulnerable? The palace remains silent on these details, but the public keeps searching for answers. Every time new reports or interviews emerge, that cryptic note comes back into focus. After all, Diana's own words indicate she believed someone wanted her out of the picture, and that Camilla was at the heart of it. Did Diana truly guess her fate, or was she simply voicing her worst fears during a time of heartbreak? We may never know the full story, but one thing is clear. Diana's cryptic note continues to spark debate, stirring questions about how far some might go to protect secrets, and how Camilla's shadow loomed over Diana's tragic end. Even now, her son's revelations keep these concerns fresh in our minds. The plot Diana feared may still be hidden behind palace doors, and until all details come to light, the uneasy questions surrounding her note remain unanswered. Harry reveals Charles's emotional dependency on Camilla. Prince Harry has never shied away from speaking his truth, and one of his most shocking revelations is about his father, King Charles, and his deep emotional dependency on Camilla. Harry's insight sheds light on just how central Camilla was to Charles's life, even during his marriage to Princess Diana. This dependency, Harry reveals, was not just about romance, but about emotional comfort and trust, something Diana struggled to compete with throughout her marriage. According to Harry, Charles leaned on Camilla for support in ways he never did with Diana. Whenever Charles faced stress or needed someone to confide in, it was Camilla he turned to. She wasn't just a mistress. She was his emotional anchor, someone he trusted completely. For Diana, this was devastating. She often felt like an outsider in her own marriage, unable to connect with Charles on the level that Camilla could. Despite her efforts to make their relationship work, Diana could never break the bond that Charles and Camilla shared. Harry's revelations also highlight how this emotional connection made Diana feel inadequate. Charles's romantic and emotional allegiance to Camilla meant that Diana was never truly his first choice. She was the perfect royal bride in the eyes of the monarchy, young, beautiful, and aristocratic. But Charles's heart had always belonged to Camilla. This reality crushed Diana, who wanted nothing more than a loving and supportive partner. Instead, she found herself in a marriage where she was constantly second to another woman. Harry has spoken about how this emotional dependency wasn't just a private matter. It bled into their family life. Diana, feeling unloved and betrayed, turned to her children for solace. She became a hands-on mother, determined to give Harry and William the love and attention she herself craved from Charles. Meanwhile, Charles continued to confide in Camilla, leaving Diana isolated and deeply hurt. This emotional dynamic wasn't just painful for Diana. It also left a lasting impact on her sons. Harry's revelations show a man still grappling with the emotional fallout of watching his mother suffer. He has spoken openly about how Charles's dependency on Camilla overshadowed their family and contributed to the cracks in his parents' marriage. For Harry, this isn't just a story about a royal scandal. It's a personal account of love, betrayal, and the emotional struggles that shaped his family's history. Camilla's influence on royal decisions undermined. Diana. Camilla's influence on royal decisions played a much bigger role in Diana's struggles than many realized. Prince Harry has revealed how Camilla's presence wasn't just an emotional strain on his mother, it also affected the way Diana was treated within the royal household. From behind the scenes, Camilla's connection with Charles allowed her to sway decisions that ultimately undermined Diana's position and happiness. According to Harry, Diana always felt like an outsider in a royal system that seemed to favor Camilla. This wasn't just about Charles's emotional dependency. It went deeper. Camilla had a network of friends and allies within the royal circle who supported her, even while she was seen as just a family friend. Diana knew that many of these individuals worked to keep Camilla close to Charles. They facilitated meetings, covered for their relationship, and even influenced how Diana was perceived by the press and the public. One of the most painful examples of this was how Diana felt unsupported by those around her. While she was trying to fulfill her royal duties and present herself as a devoted wife and mother, Camilla's influence created a divide. Harry claims that some of the decisions that affected Diana's life and reputation were influenced by Camilla's connections. This included how the palace handled Diana's media image. Negative stories about Diana sometimes appeared in the press, painting her as unstable or overly emotional. Diana suspected that these stories were planted by people close to Camilla, working to protect her reputation while damaging Diana's. Even within the family, Diana felt that Camilla's presence made it nearly impossible for her to win Charles's affection. Camilla's calm and composed demeanor, combined with her ability to understand Charles, made Diana feel like she could never compete. Harry has spoken about how this emotional triangle left Diana isolated and unsupported, especially when she needed help the most. Diana also believed that Camilla's influence extended to Charles's decisions about their marriage. Charles often seemed more concerned with keeping Camilla happy than supporting Diana. This imbalance caused deep pain for Diana, who knew she was fighting a losing battle not only against Camilla, but against an entire system that seemed to protect her. Harry's revelations have shed light on just how much Camilla's influence shaped Diana's life. For Diana, it wasn't just about losing her husband's love. It was about losing her place in a system that always seemed to choose Camilla over her. The infamous bracelet incident. The infamous bracelet incident is one of the most heartbreaking and revealing moments in the tragic story of Princess Diana and King Charles's marriage. It occurred just before Charles and Diana were set to tie the knot, a time that should have been filled with excitement and hope. However, for Diana, it became one of the first signs that her marriage was not the fairy tale she had envisioned. Just days before their wedding, Diana discovered that Charles had commissioned a gold bracelet for Camilla Parker Bowles. The bracelet wasn't just a random gift. It was engraved with their secret nicknames, Fred and Gladys. These nicknames symbolized the deep and personal bond that Charles and Camilla shared, a bond that had clearly not ended despite Charles's engagement to Diana. For Diana, this discovery was devastating. She realized that she wasn't just marrying a prince, she was also stepping into a marriage with a third person already deeply involved. The incident left Diana feeling betrayed and humiliated. She was young, just 20 years old, and had already begun to suspect that Camilla wasn't just a friend to Charles. But now, the bracelet confirmed her worst fears. Charles's heart wasn't entirely hers, even before they exchanged vows. This moment planted seeds of doubt and insecurity in Diana's mind. Doubts that would haunt her throughout their marriage. What made this even more painful for Diana was Charles's lack of sensitivity. He didn't try to hide the bracelet or downplay its significance. He even admitted to Diana that it was for Camilla, brushing it off as a harmless gesture of friendship. To Diana, however, it was anything but harmless. It was a clear sign that Camilla still held a special place in Charles's life, one that Diana could never truly replace. The bracelet became a symbol of everything wrong in their relationship. It represented the lingering presence of Camilla in their marriage and the emotional bond that Charles had with her. A bond Diana could never compete with. This incident was one of Diana's first glimpses into the emotional triangle she was about to face. Looking back, the bracelet wasn't just a gift. It was a warning. It foreshadowed the struggles Diana would endure as she tried to navigate a marriage overshadowed by betrayal, secrets, and the unbreakable connection between Charles and Camilla. For Diana, the bracelet wasn't just a piece of jewelry. It was the beginning of a heartbreak that would define her life. Late-night phone calls exposed the depth of Charles and Camilla's affair. The late-night phone calls between Charles and Camilla were one of the most heartbreaking discoveries for Princess Diana. These calls were not just casual conversations. They revealed the deep emotional connection Charles shared with Camilla, a connection that Diana always knew she could never compete with. Prince Harry has recently opened up about how these private calls exposed just how intertwined Charles and Camilla's lives were, even during his parents' marriage. Diana first became aware of these phone calls early on in her marriage. While the world saw Charles and Diana as a picture-perfect royal couple, the reality behind palace doors was far from perfect. Late at night, when Diana was alone, Charles would often retreat to a private room to make secret calls to Camilla. These weren't about official royal matters. They were heartfelt conversations filled with laughter, inside jokes, and emotional support. For Diana, knowing that her husband sought comfort and connection from another woman was devastating. One of the most infamous moments came when Diana overheard an intimate phone call between Charles and Camilla. In that moment, it became clear to her that their bond was more than just a lingering friendship. She realized that Charles's heart was always with Camilla. The discovery of these calls marked a turning point for Diana, as it confirmed her deepest fears. She was not the only woman in Charles's life. Harry has revealed that these late-night calls were not just a betrayal of Diana's trust, but also a reflection of how Camilla's presence overshadowed his mother's role in the marriage. Charles's emotional dependency on Camilla became obvious through these conversations, as he turned to her for the kind of intimacy he never shared with Diana. This left Diana feeling isolated and unloved, struggling to understand why her husband couldn't connect with her in the same way. What made it worse was that these calls were often disguised as business or official matters. But Diana always knew the truth. She later described how hearing Charles's voice light up while speaking to Camilla felt like a dagger to her heart. It was a constant reminder that their marriage was never truly between just the two of them. Camilla's jealousy of Diana's global popularity created tensions. Princess Diana was adored by millions around the world, and her natural charm, beauty, and compassion earned her the title of the People's Princess. However, her global popularity wasn't just a source of admiration. It also created serious tension behind palace walls. Prince Harry has revealed how Camilla, now Queen Consort, was deeply jealous of Diana's widespread adoration. And this jealousy played a big role in the strained relationships within the royal family. Camilla and Diana were opposites in many ways. Diana had a rare ability to connect with people. Whether it was comforting a child in a hospital or speaking with ordinary citizens, Diana's warmth and authenticity were undeniable. Crowds flocked to see her, and the press couldn't get enough of her. Her every move, outfit, and word made headlines. By contrast, Camilla lived in the shadows, often portrayed as the other woman during Diana and Charles's marriage. While Diana shone in the spotlight, Camilla was left dealing with harsh public criticism, and this stark difference only fueled her resentment. Harry has suggested that Camilla struggled with how Diana's popularity affected her own place in Charles's life. Diana wasn't just loved by the public, she was beloved by Charles's family and courtiers at first, too. This made Camilla's position even more precarious. Even as Charles's feelings for Diana cooled, Camilla couldn't compete with the way Diana captivated the world. It was a rivalry that Camilla could never win, and it ate away at her. This jealousy reportedly led to subtle but damaging actions. Harry has hinted that Camilla, along with her allies in royal circles, may have tried to influence the press to paint Diana in a negative light. Stories about Diana being unstable, or difficult, began to circulate, and the once perfect princess was now fighting against a media storm she believed was orchestrated, at least in part, by Camilla's supporters. These narratives not only hurt Diana's reputation, but also added to the tension between the two women. For Diana, the rivalry wasn't just about Camilla's relationship with Charles. It was about feeling undermined at every turn. While Diana wanted to use her platform for good, Camilla resented how Diana's light overshadowed her own presence in the royal family. Harry's revelations highlight how this jealousy created friction that rippled through the monarchy, leaving behind a legacy of bitterness and betrayal. Secret meetings between Charles and Camilla were hidden in plain sight. The secret meetings between Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles were one of the most painful betrayals Princess Diana had to endure. What made it worse? These meetings were often hidden in plain sight, disguised as casual social events or family gatherings. Recently, Prince Harry has revealed just how far Charles and Camilla went to keep their relationship alive, even during his marriage to Diana. The truth is, these hidden encounters weren't so hidden after all. Diana knew exactly what was going on. According to Harry, Charles and Camilla's connection was carefully maintained with the help of close friends and royal courtiers. These allies enabled their meetings, ensuring they could see each other without raising suspicion. Social events such as hunting trips, polo matches, and even dinner parties provided the perfect cover for their rendezvous. While the public saw these as innocent royal traditions, Diana saw them for what they truly were: opportunities for her husband to be with another woman. One of the most gut-wrenching aspects for Diana was that she was often present at these events. Imagine attending a party or gathering, only to see your husband stealing glances or sharing private jokes with another woman. Diana later admitted that she felt humiliated and powerless. She was trapped in a situation where everyone around her seemed to accept and even support Charles and Camilla's relationship, leaving her to suffer in silence. Harry has also revealed that Diana wasn't just suspicious, she had proof. She knew about the phone calls, the secret letters, and the carefully planned meetings. But confronting Charles never seemed to make a difference. The emotional triangle left Diana feeling isolated and betrayed, especially as the royal family and staff turned a blind eye to what was happening. For Diana, the most painful part was the realization that these meetings weren't just about physical attraction. They were about an emotional bond that she could never break. Charles and Camilla shared years of history, private jokes, and a deep connection that made Diana feel like an outsider in her own marriage. These revelations from Harry shine a light on how the secret meetings weren't so secret after all. They were a constant reminder to Diana that her marriage to Charles was built on shaky ground, with Camilla always lurking in the background. Hidden in plain sight, these meetings symbolize the betrayal that ultimately shattered Diana's trust and happiness. Prince Harry raises doubts about the official investigation into Diana's death. Prince Harry is no stranger to controversy, but his recent remarks about the official investigation into Princess Diana's death have reignited questions that have haunted the public for decades. Harry has openly expressed his doubts about the events surrounding his mother's tragic car crash in Paris on August 31, 1997. While the official conclusion pointed to a drunk driver and aggressive paparazzi, Harry believes there's more to the story, and he's not alone. One of the most chilling aspects of Diana's death is her own eerie prediction. Diana had written a letter months before her death, claiming she feared a plot involving a car accident. This note, discovered after her passing, specifically mentioned her concerns about someone tampering with her car. Harry has pointed to this letter as evidence that his mother's fears were not unfounded. He has even taken aim at the royal institution itself, suggesting that the system that failed to protect his mother may have played a role in her tragic end. Harry has also raised questions about the investigation's inconsistencies. Why were the cameras in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, where Diana's crash occurred, mysteriously not working that night? Why were certain key witnesses never interviewed thoroughly? And why was there such a rush to blame the paparazzi, while other suspicious details were brushed aside? For Harry, these unanswered questions cast doubt on the official narrative. Even more shocking, Harry has hinted that his father, King Charles, may have known more than he let on. During the investigation, Charles was questioned about Diana's letter, in which she mentioned fearing for her life. While Charles denied involvement, Harry remains skeptical about whether the truth was fully revealed. For Diana's sons, the pain of losing their mother is compounded by the lingering doubts surrounding her death. Harry's determination to uncover the truth is not just about justice for Diana, it's about challenging the institutions and individuals who may have failed her. As Harry continues to speak out, one thing is clear: the mystery of Diana's death is far from being laid to rest. Harry's mission to expose the truth about Diana's struggles and betrayals. Prince Harry has always carried the weight of his mother's struggles, but now, as an adult, he's on a mission to expose the truth about what Princess Diana endured. Her life was filled with love, betrayal, and unimaginable pain, much of which was caused by the very institution she married into. Harry has revealed that Diana wasn't just a victim of circumstance, she was betrayed by those closest to her, including King Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles. Harry's goal is clear: to ensure that Diana's voice, which was often silenced during her lifetime, is finally heard. Diana's struggles began early in her marriage to Charles. Harry has spoken about how his mother felt isolated and unsupported from the start. Charles's emotional dependency on Camilla was no secret to Diana. She felt like she was living in the shadow of another woman, constantly competing for her husband's affection. Harry has described how Diana's heartbreak was exacerbated by the royal family's refusal to acknowledge what was happening. The late-night phone calls, secret meetings, and even intimate gifts between Charles and Camilla were all hidden in plain sight. For Diana, it wasn't just the emotional betrayal that hurt. It was the way the system worked against her. According to Harry, the royal institution not only ignored her pain, but also contributed to it. Negative stories were planted in the media, painting Diana as unstable while protecting Charles and Camilla. This betrayal left Diana feeling trapped and alone, with only her sons as her source of strength. Harry's mission to share Diana's truth isn't just about uncovering the past. It's about holding those responsible accountable. He wants the world to know that Diana's struggles were not just personal. They were part of a larger system designed to protect the monarchy at any cost. Harry is honoring his mother's legacy and ensuring that the world never forgets the pain she endured. Diana may have been silenced during her lifetime, but through Harry, her story continues to shine as a reminder of the cost of betrayal and the power of truth. Camilla's role in controlling public perception and royal narratives. Camilla, the Queen Consort of the United Kingdom, has had a rocky relationship with the public, especially given her connection to the late Princess Diana. Recently, Prince Harry shared some surprising thoughts about Camilla that have brought new attention to her role in the royal family. His comments reveal a more negative view of her, which adds complexity to how we see her today. Many people remember Camilla as the woman who was involved in the breakdown of Charles and Diana's marriage. This history has always cast a long shadow over her reputation. In his recent revelations, Prince Harry expressed his concerns about Camilla's influence within the royal family. He described feeling uneasy about how she has shaped her public image, suggesting that her actions may not always be genuine. This perspective is important because it highlights a different side of Camilla that many might not see. Harry's comments suggest that he feels Camilla has played a part in a carefully crafted narrative, one that makes her look good in the eyes of the public. This idea of controlling the story is crucial for Camilla, as she has spent years trying to win people over. However, Harry's words remind us that not everyone in the royal family feels the same way. His openness about his feelings adds to the ongoing conversation about Camilla's role in the monarchy. Furthermore, Harry's revelations also show the impact of personal experiences on public perception. He has faced a lot of challenges in his life, and his views on Camilla reflect his struggles with family dynamics. This negative sense does not just affect how he sees her, but it also influences how others might view the royal family as a whole. Prince Harry's recent comments about Camilla reveal a different and more critical perspective on her role within the royal family. While she works hard to control her public image, Harry's insights remind us that not everyone is convinced by her efforts. This ongoing tension highlights the complexity of royal narratives and the challenge of reshaping public perception, especially when personal feelings are involved.